Welcome back to the Prince2 Process model. Prince2 processes define the management activities. Just like any other project management methodology, there has to be predefined ways and means of doing the activities. So the processes of Prince2 defines those management level activities. There are 7 management processes which allow the project management team to set up the project, control the project, and close the project. The process model can be tailored to any project by asking the question, how extensively should this process be applied on this project? The Prince2 is primarily based on the principles. That essentially means as a project management team, it's a must that you follow these principles and practices strictly. That is purely to achieve the intended goals that are meant to be achieved during the project execution. Now let's have a look at the management levels involved in a Prince2 project. In a Prince2 project, there can be different levels of management involved from the inception up to the closing of the project. The first layer is generally called program management. However, the program management is not within the Prince2 project team context. They are generally outside of the scope of the Prince2, but program management would be the people to set the context of the project. The second layer is directing a project. So these are the managers who are primarily responsible for key decision making and directing the project and all the management related activities. They will decide the budget. They will decide the reserves. They will guide the project management layer to drive the project. However, their main job is to do direction than getting directly involved. The third layer of the management is project management. Project management is responsible for controlling all the stages. They are involved in day-to-day planning and control related activities to ensure that the requirements are captured and executed effectively to deliver the most valuable product delivery. The fourth management layer is managing product delivery. So this is the management or the management layer responsible for managing the delivery of the product. Primarily, team managers are part of this management layer. They're directly working with the team, looking into their performance as well as all the project management related activities to ensure the project is delivered effectively. Hope this makes the management involvement clear. And in a Prince2 project, you will see that all these levels of management are involved. Now let's have a look at the process model of Prince2. The figure that you see on screen indicates all the stages involved in a Prince2 project. On the left side, what you see is starting up a project. So this is the first stage of a Prince2 project. Once you start up the project, the next phase is initiating the project, which is also known as IP. Similar to PMBOK model, The activities you do here would be almost the same. However, this is less prescribed compared to PMBOK. So the intention is to initiate the project. Once you initiate the project, the next stage of the project management is controlling a stage, which is also known as CS. So this is the stage where you start monitoring and controlling the project management activities. So while you're controlling, the primary activity in this stage is to manage the product delivery, that is working towards the requirements and delivering them. So while you work on those deliverables, then you start controlling. So after this stage, you reach to the stage called managing a stage boundary, or MB stage. In this, of course, the primary intention is to manage the project. So that is where you look into the budgets, you look into the baselines and ensure that the project is managed within the boundaries agreed. The last stage is called closing a project, which is also known as CP. So that is the stage where you close down the project. That is after delivering the agreed requirements to the stakeholders and your clients. So while you're working on all these stages, there's an additional activity, a process that happens that is called directing a project. So this is where the management is involved. All the levels of management that we discuss could take part in this process. That is to look into all the stages and ensure that the right decision making is done in order to deliver the project deliverables effectively. Now let's dig deeper, try to understand each and every step in detail. First, again, let's have a look at the 7 stages or 7 processes of a Prince2 project. These processes are also known with the abbreviations. So let's have a look at them. The first one is called DP. DP stands for directing a project. The second process is SU, that is starting up a project. Third, IP, which means initiating a project. Fourth, SB. SB stands for managing state boundaries. Fifth, CS, that is controlling a stage. Sixth, MP, managing product delivery. Seventh, which is the last process in Prince2, is closing a project. Now let's dig deeper and try to understand what happens in each process of Prince2. The first process is starting up a project. The trigger to start the project is the project mandate. As you can see from the diagram, it appears from outside the project team. Prince2 says that the project mandate is created by someone from the corporate or program management. Starting up a project, which is also known as SU, is the first process and has the following main outputs that are given to the project board. First one, the project brief, which contains the outline of the business case. The second, the initiation stage plan, which is the plan for the initiation stage. The third, project product description, that explains what the project is all about. At the bottom of the diagram, you can see the text pre-project. The SU process is considered to be outside the project. Actually, the project does not start until the project board takes their first decision. So the SU process provides the information to start the project. Project board first decision. The very first decision the project board consider is whether to allow the initiation stage to start. This is known as authorized initiation. They determine whether the project is worth doing. That is evaluating whether it's desirable, viable, and achievable. It also check and approve the plan for the initiation stage. After the first project board decision, the project manager uses the approved initiation stage plan to run the initiation stage. This is the first stage of the project. The initiation stage has the following main outputs that form part of the PID. They are the 4 strategy documents: risk, quality, configuration, and communication management. The business case document, which is the responsibility of the executive. The project plan. The product descriptions. Project controls describing how the project will be controlled. Roles and responsibilities, and project management team structure. Most of the work in this first stage is facilitated by the project manager, with lots of support from the executive to develop and refine the business case. Persons responding, the users help with product descriptions and quality requirements. Specialists, also known as subject matter experts, can also help with product-based planning, which includes the creation of the product descriptions and estimating, which is part of the planning. Senior user provides the expected benefits information which are measurable and when they are expected to be realized. This information is stored in the benefits review plan. The next process is controlling a stage or first delivery stage. Controlling a stage is where the project manager does most of their day-to-day work. They mainly do the following activities: give out work to team managers in work packages, check up on the status of these work packages and accept work packages back when they are complete. Continually review the stage status. Where are we now compared to the stage plan? Provide regular reports to the project board. Capture and examine issues and risks and escalate if necessary. Take corrective action to solve issues with their tolerance. Managing a stage boundary, SB. As you can see in the diagram below, stage boundary process starts towards the end of the stage and before the controlling stage. The objectives of stage boundary process are to prepare the following information for the project board. End stage report, how well the stage did compared to the stage plan. Update the business case and project plan with actual to date. Next stage plan, a plan for the next stage that needs to be approved. Benefits review plan. Check and update if expected benefits have or have not been realized. Next delivery stages. Projects can have more than two stages and they are all separated by a project board decision, as the project board uses stages to keep control of the project. As you can see from the example, this current delivery stage follows the same management pattern as the previous stage. The main differences between the two stages will be the content of the work packages given. Between the two stages will be the content of the work packages given to the teams to develop. Project board decision. The project board will carry out the same activities as described at the end of the last stage. The last delivery stage and closing the project. The project will continue until all delivery stages are completed and it will be closed at the end of the last stage. A good way to remember this is the closing is a project process is always the last part of the last stage. Normally, towards the end of a stage, the stage boundary process is used to report the current stage and plan the next one. As you can see from the diagram below, the stage boundary process is not used. But the closing a project process starts up near the end of the controlling a stage process. The closing a project process is where the project manager prepares the project for closure. The objectives of the closing a project process are to update the project plan to show what has been delivered, approved, and when they are being delivered. Hand over projects, products, and obtain acceptance. Evaluate the project and create the end project report. Benefits review plan. Check and update if expected benefits have or have not been realized. The last thing that the project manager will do in the closing a project's process is to recommend project closure to the project board. You can see it is not the project manager that closes the project. Again, we say that the project manager prepares the project for closure. Now let's have a look at the timeline summary. The objectives of this project timeline were to give you an idea of a sample project, give you an idea of how the processes may relate to each other in a project. Also, to show when the project board gets involved in a project. Show which processes are done once and which are done more than once. Also, I wanted to show how stages relate to each other and how the closing a project process is part of the last stage. The timeline diagram has also shown how the project can be divided up into pre-product, initiation stage, delivery stages, and finally the closing stage. Which processes happen once or more than once in a project. Example, the blue colored processes such as starting up a project, initiating a project, and closing a project all happen just once.